Okay, today we are going to start into chapter 4, and we are going to move on from multiplication, and we're going to work on the inverse of multiplication. And the inverse of multiplication is division. Okay, so we're going to start division today. Pretty similar to how we started out with multiplication, where we're doing finding methods and ways that we can do division using mental math, or maybe by estimating or rounding, before we get into actually dividing by 1 or 2 digits. So for today, what I want to focus on is some of the language that we're going to hear when we're talking about division, and then we're going to get into dividing using mental math, and we use that method in multiplication, and it's going to be very similar to that. Okay, so first of all, when we talk about multiplication, okay, we're getting to the point where we're going to start seeing multiplication listed like this with this little box, half box. We're going to have a number inside the box, and we'll just do a basic math fact for right now. Okay, and we might be dividing it by a number outside the box. First of all, let's talk about the terminology that goes along with division. The number inside the box is called my dividend. The number outside the box is called my divisor, what I'm dividing by. Okay, so dividend is the number inside the box, divisor is the number outside of the box. Okay, then just like whenever we multiplied and we got our answer, we call that answer our product. When we deal with multiplication, that answer to multiplication has a fancy name for it too, and that's called the quotient. Okay, and up here, if we did this math, 10 divided by 5 is 2. My quotient, or my answer to division, would be 2. Okay, so these are the 3 vocabulary words we need to make sure we know. Anytime we talk about a dividend, we're talking about the number inside the box. Anytime we talk about a divisor, we're talking about the number outside of the box. And my quotient is always my answer to multiplication. Product is my answer to product is my answer to multiplication. Quotient is my answer to division. I think I just said that backwards. But quotient is my answer to division. Okay? So dividend, divisor, quotient. Multiplication and division are inverse operations, which means they're the opposite operations. Okay? So when we think about today's lesson, we learned with our multiplication chapter a couple different methods that we can use to help us do multiplication. So today we're going to learn how to do some division using multiples of 10 and 100. Okay, and once we get started here, I think you'll catch on pretty quick because of how we approached this lesson with multiplication. So the first thing I want to do is we're just going to give some examples. Okay, let's do 540 divided by 9. Okay, I can look at this problem like this, and just how we did in multiplication. Here I have a basic math fact. If I look at the digits that are non-zero, okay, I have 54 and 9. I can take these digits that are non-zero, and I can take 54 and divide it by 9. My basic math facts tell me 54 divided by 9 is 6. How many other zeros are left over? That one goes at the end of my answer. Okay? 54 divided by 9 is 6. So 540 divided by 9 is 60. I can check that answer by taking my quotient and multiplying it times my divisor. So 60 times 9. Okay, this is another reason why we learned multiplication first. 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 6 is 54. Okay, so we can always check our answer to division by doing the inverse and multiplying. Okay, so my quotient would have been 60. In this problem, 540 is my dividend, and 9 would be my divisor. Let's look at another problem. Okay, if I have 28,000 divided by 4. If I'm going to use mental math to solve this problem, the first thing I'm going to do is look at my digits that are non-zero. Okay? I have 28 and I have 4. Math like Fluency, we should automatically know when I have 28 and I divide it by 4, I get 7. Okay? All I'm doing is taking 28 and dividing it by 4. Then I'm going to add my zeros, just like we did in multiplication. So, 28 divided by 4 would give me 7. I'm adding my zeros, so my quotient, or my answer, to 28,000 divided by 4 would be 7,000. 7,000 would be my quotient, my answer to division. All right. One more example, and then I'll give you some to work on your own. How about when we look at this problem here, this is a basic math fact for us. So we can take that one step further and do 220 divided by 2. I know that this is 11 because that's what my math fact fluency, that's what we study. 22 divided by 2, just as up here, is still 11. I have 1 0 left over, so it's going to be added to my quotient. So if 22 divided by 2 is 11, 220 divided by 2 is 110. So here's one for you to try on your own. How about 4,200 divided by 6. And while you're working on this, you can pause the video and work on it. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the answer. When I look at my digits that are non-zero, I have 42 and I have 6. 42 divided by 6 is 7. I have 2 zeros. I'm going to add 2 zeros to my answer. So my quotient would be 700. If I would write this using the backs, my first number is always listed inside the backs. My divisor, or the second number, is always listed outside the backs. I can look at this problem the same way. I still have 42 and I still have 6. 42 divided by 6 is 7. I have 2 zeros left over. I'm going to add those 2 zeros. We can check this quotient by doing the inverse and multiplying. When I do that, I take my quotient, 700, and I multiply it times my divisor. If I look at it this way, here's my divisor, here's my quotient, I multiply them. 4,200. This answer should always match the dividend. That lets you know that your problem is correct. Alright, what I want you to do is I want you to work through problems 1 through 11. I want you to work through 1 through 11 and I want you to do the add-ons. Please refer back to the video if you have any questions. But it should be self-explanatory as you're working through that. It's just like we did in multiplication, except we're doing the inverse operation and we're dividing. We're doing the opposite operation. And that is the page. Workbook page 22. Workbook page 22, 1 to 11 add.